Interview with the Vampire wasn't just a movie, it was a battlefield. Tom Cruise battled public hatred, Brad Pitt battled depression, and Anne Rice, well, she battled everyone until she saw the final cut and had to eat her words in a 2-page apology ad. This is the true story behind one of the most controversial productions in Hollywood history. Buckle up, because today we're sinking our teeth into 27 shocking facts about this legendary vampire film. Fact 1. The rights were purchased in 1976 before the book was even published. Paramount Pictures purchased the rights to Anne Rice's novel in April 1976, shortly before the book was even published. This kicked off a nearly 20-year development nightmare. The script lingered in development hell for years, with the rights being sold from Paramount to Lorimar and eventually ending up with Warner Brothers. Almost 2 decades passed before the film finally made it to theaters in 1994. Fact 2. Anne Rice originally wrote it with Alain Delon in mind. When Rice adapted her 1976 novel into a screenplay, she had French actor Alain Delon in mind for the role of Louis. Later, British actor Julian Sands was championed by Rice and fans to play Lestat. But because Sands was not a well-known name at the time, being only famous for A Room with a View, he was rejected and the role was given to Tom Cruise. The studio wanted star power. Fact 3. Rice and her editor considered making them female. According to an interview Rice did with Movie Line, she and her editor Vicki Wilson toyed with the idea of changing Lestat and Louis from male to female, eyeing Angelica Houston and Cher as contenders for their respective roles. Rice said of the potential change, "At that time in history, you could own your own plantation and run things if you were a man, but you couldn't if you were a woman." They ultimately decided to keep the characters male. Fact 4. Daniel Day-Lewis turned down Lestat. After Brad Pitt was cast as Louis, Rice and the studio wanted Daniel Day-Lewis to portray Lestat, but Day-Lewis turned it down as he didn't want to portray a vampire. Can you imagine what Day-Lewis would have brought to Lestat? It would have been a completely different film. Fact 5. Anne Rice publicly trashed Tom Cruise's casting. Upon learning Tom Cruise had been cast as Lestat, Rice was livid and stated Cruise could not carry the part, calling the casting so bizarre, it's almost impossible to imagine how it's going to work. She even said it was no more my vampire Lestat than Edward G. Robinson as Rhett Butler, and called it the worst crime in the name of casting since the Bonfire of the Vanities. She was furious. Fact 6. Rice bought a 2-page ad to apologize. Rice left the production and did not view the film until a producer sent her a VHS copy. Rice was so impressed by Cruise's performance that she wrote him a letter of apology and recorded a 2-minute video endorsing the film. Anne Rice was so pleased with the adaptation that she took out a 2-page ad in both Vanity Fair and the New York Times, endorsing it as a masterpiece. That's an incredible turnaround. Fact 7. Tom Cruise got $10 million plus profit points. Because of his star power, Cruise received a record $10 million salary and a percentage of the profits. This was an enormous payday for 1994. He was by far the highest paid person on the production, and his involvement is what got the film greenlit after nearly 20 years. Fact 8. Cruise studied lions to play Lestat. The actor knew he wanted to play Lestat from the first time he read Anne Rice's screen adaptation. Cruise studied lions for the part, not only because they're fearsome hunters, but also because of their elegance. Though reportedly deeply hurt by Rice's initial criticism, he grabbed the role by the jugular, reading all of her books, learning piano, losing weight, and soaking up the atmosphere in Paris with then-wife Nicole Kidman to get a jump on Lestat's hedonistic lifestyle. Fact 9. Cruise was placed on an elevated platform. Tom Cruise, whose official height is listed at 5 feet 7 inches, but who is rumored to be much shorter, was placed on an elevated platform during some scenes so that he'd look as tall as the other vampires. The production went to great lengths to hide the height difference between Cruise and his taller co-stars. Fact 10. Cruise spent 3 hours daily in makeup. Tom Cruise reportedly spent over 3 hours every day having his makeup applied. The vampire look required incredible patience and precision. At Anne Rice's insistence, Tom Cruise dyed his hair blonde to play Lestat. Every detail had to be perfect. Fact 11. The actors hung upside down for 30 minutes. All the actors playing vampires were required to hang upside down for up to 30 minutes at a time during makeup. This would force all the blood in their bodies to rush to their heads, causing the blood vessels in their faces to bulge. The makeup artist would then trace over the swollen veins, creating the eerie, translucent-skinned look. Unfortunately for the actors, they would have to repeat the process several times over as the blood would quickly drain from their heads. Talk about suffering for your art. Fact 12. Cruise complained about Brad Pitt's body odor. Tom Cruise famously complained during filming that Brad Pitt practiced poor hygiene, which led to overwhelming body odor. Given how close they had to be during intimate vampire scenes, this must have made things incredibly awkward on set. Fact 13. Brad Pitt was absolutely miserable. In an article released in September 2011, Brad Pitt revealed that he had a miserable experience while making this film. He complained of discomfort while wearing his costumes and colored contacts and being forced to play second fiddle to Tom Cruise, both on screen and off. When asked about what it was like working on the movie at the time, he told the Times-Picayune, "I am miserable. 6 months in the dark. Almost every scene took place at night." Fact 14. Pitt tried to quit, but it would cost $40 million. Pitt even admitted to trying to quit the production, but because it would cost him $40 million to break his contract, he stayed on. Imagine being so miserable you're willing to walk away from one of your biggest roles, but you literally can't afford to leave. Fact 15. River Phoenix was originally cast as the interviewer. River Phoenix was originally cast to play Daniel Malloy, the interviewer. He tragically died 4 weeks before he was due to begin filming. Only 23 at the time, his passing caused an outpouring of tributes, sadness, and love for the actor who had starred in such memorable movies as Stand By Me and Running on Empty. Hollywood was devastated. Fact 16. Christian Slater donated his entire salary. Christian Slater was given the role of Daniel Malloy upon the death of River Phoenix. Slater donated his $250,000 salary to 2 of Phoenix's favorite charities. About the role, Slater said, "That was so tragic, and it was really awkward to be stepping into that kind of scenario. It didn't feel right taking money for it, so he ended up donating the money to charities that Phoenix was involved with." Fact 17. The film is dedicated to River Phoenix. Interview with the Vampire is dedicated to River Phoenix with the end credits message, "In memory of River Phoenix, 1970 to 1993. It's a beautiful tribute to an actor who was taken far too soon and never got to see the film come to life. Fact 18. Lestat's throat-slitting scene used an animatronic. One of the most shocking scenes is when Claudia slits Lestat's throat and he crawls around while his blood spills everywhere. The scene was achieved by transferring from Tom Cruise bleeding from a prosthetic wound to an animatronic model designed to wither as it bled out, enhanced with CGI blood. Instead of Cruise, it was an animatronic created by special effects wizard Stan Winston, who did the special effects and makeup for the movie. Practical effects at their finest. Fact 19. Claudia's remains were inspired by Hiroshima victims. Winston also sculpted the rough model for the charred remains of Claudia and Madeline using archival photographs of victims from Hiroshima for inspiration. This incredibly dark research gave the scene its disturbing authenticity. Fact 20. 20 minutes were cut from the film. A rough cut of Interview with the Vampire was shown to test audiences who, according to producer David Geffen, felt there was a little too much blood and violence. Eventually, about 20 minutes worth of footage was either cut or rearranged before the theatrical version was ready. Imagine how much more violent the original cut must have been. Fact 21. Oprah Winfrey walked out after 10 minutes. Oprah Winfrey walked out of an advanced screening of the movie only 10 minutes in because of the gore and dark themes. She considered canceling an interview with Tom Cruise promoting the film, stating, "I believe there are forces of light and darkness in the world, and I don't want to be a contributor to the force of darkness." That's how disturbing she found it. Fact 22. It was the first film to close the Golden Gate Bridge. It was the first film production to be given permission to close down 2 lanes of traffic on the Golden Gate Bridge. This was a massive logistical achievement and shows how much clout the production had. Fact 23. Tunnels were built for Cruise's privacy. Tom Cruise wanted a private set, and hence tunnels were built to escort the actors to and from the set. This was done so that the vampire's makeup effects would remain a secret. The production went to extraordinary lengths to maintain secrecy. Fact 24. Antonio Banderas never met Tom Cruise during filming. Because Armand only factors into Louis and Claudia's journey when they moved to Paris, Banderas never met Cruise during the actual filming. The 2 biggest male stars in the movie never actually worked together on set. Fact 25. It was the first LGBT film to make over $100 million. This was the first LGBT-related film to gross more than $100 million at the U.S. box office. Worldwide, it's the number 2 gay film of all time, followed only by The Birdcage. The film's queer subtext was revolutionary for mainstream Hollywood in 1994. Interview with the Vampire survived development hell, a tragic death, a miserable leading man, and an author's public fury to become a $223 million phenomenon.
Moderato. Potable, perhaps.
If you made it this far, you're clearly obsessed with movie secrets just like us. Smash that like button, subscribe for more shocking facts.